The New York Times and CBS News released a poll on the issue of corruption and money in politics, and the numbers are absolutely overwhelming. So I want to run through some specifics here so you see just how crushing a victory this is for all of us who oppose this new American oligarchy that has come into place. So the first question they asked is, do you think money has too much or too little influence in campaigns? That's a nice softball right down the center of the plate here. 85% of the American people say, yes, money has too much influence in politics. Only 5% say it's too little. The next question is, how often do you think candidates who win public office promote policies that directly help the people and groups who donated money to their campaigns? Most of the time is 55%, sometimes is 30%, rarely is 9%. Again, overwhelming. People know what's going on. They're saying, oh, of course, the people who do campaign contributions, they're the ones who get the help. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. If anything, it's just human nature. And a majority of the American people realize that. The next question is, do you think wealthy Americans have more of a chance to influence the election process than other Americans? 66% say yes, the wealthy have more influence. Again, a tremendous majority. Should we do minor changes, fundamental changes, or completely rebuild political campaigns in America? Minor is 13%, very tiny number there. Fundamental changes is 39%. And then look at this, man. Completely rebuild. A plurality of the American people say we need to completely rebuild how we fund political campaigns. 46%, the biggest category. Next question is, should we have limited money in campaigns or unlimited money? Limited 77%, unlimited 21%. Is giving money to political candidates free speech? No, 54%. Yes, just 41%. We've won in every single category so far. Let's go to the next one here. Which party benefits the most from money in politics? Democrats, 14%. Republicans, 23%. Both equally, 58%. Yes, again, this is, I think, spot on, where more people are pointing out, yeah, the Republicans are kind of bigger sellouts, so that's why they have a higher number. I think a lot of people recognize that. But 58% for both equally. That's true. And it just so happens that the Democrats and the Republicans, they used to be bought off by different sets of special interests. So the Republicans, it would be all, Wall Street and the military-industrial complex and all the worst of the worst people. The Democrats, it was more like labor unions and teachers unions and lawyers and things like that. Slightly less scary special interests. Well, now, ever since we've had these 3 or 4 Supreme Court cases that further legalize money in politics and corruption, ever since then, now they're kind of both taking money from the same groups of people. The big banks, the people on Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, as well as all those other special interest groups. And the American people kind of get it, which is why 58% of them are like, oh yeah, it's both parties. They're both corrupt to their core. I mean, these things are important. They're incredibly important, and it's possible to make the change. So what we need to do is get up off of our ass and fight. It's that simple. And how do we fight? We fight the right way. We fight the smart way. We fight in ways that we know have worked in the past. So what I think makes sense, and my buddies over at TYT think it makes sense as well, is to try to get a constitutional amendment by going around Congress, because Congress is so fucking corrupt. Why would we go to them to fix the problem? They are the problem. So what do? We get a constitutional convention through the states. And we fight on a state level, and we're fighting for an amendment that mandates clean elections by law. Clean elections are not a radical idea. It's not a uber lefty communist idea. It's just the idea that in a democracy, the politicians should represent us. How do we get to a place where they do represent us? Well, you take away the incentives that they have to represent other people, the special interests, Wall Street, the military-industrial complex. Because they get all their money right now from, big corporations, they're going to represent big corporations. There's a trillion examples. We give them to you every day on the show. There was the Princeton study that found that the overwhelming majority of the American people, to the middle class and the poor, our politicians represent us 0% of the time. If they ever do something we like, it's by accident because some other corporation that actually has influence pushed in that direction. So the solution is you get rid of the money, which is the root of the problem in the system. If we have a democracy that's actually based on ideas and competing philosophies, then you have politicians, if they're only getting paid by us, they're only going to represent us.